So welcome to my kitchen. Today we are going to be making a tuna sandwich. This sandwich is very special to me. My grandmother made it for me growing up, and I want to share this recipe because it is very yummy. What we have going on for ingredients is going to be 2 large cans of tuna, and I don't chop that up or anything because as we mix ingredients in, it will get really fine and perfect. We need some regular old mayo, some pepper, and some kosher salt. We also want some green onions, red onions, or white onions. I am going with green onions today because I'm making a pretty large batch that I'm going to share with my son and my husband and my mother-in-law, so I want to go with the mild onion, but my grandma's favorite was the white onion, and my favorite would be very fine red onion. And then we're also going to go in with the red apple. You can use any apple that you want, but I'm going to do red. You will need your favorite bread. Mine and my grandmother's was this extra sourdough by Francisco. It's so good. And pickles are going to be optional. I am going to use them on the side this time. You can put them in, but I'm going to make this very simple like my grandma would have made it. We're going to get right into it. Now I'm also going to be taking photographs of this, so we'll be talking about that at the end. How I get some of my food photography shots that I use on social media, or when I give out a recipe, things of that nature. So we're going right into these white parts of the green onion. You know I'm a messy cook if you've been around for my first video, because I told you about it then, and I truly am the world's messiest cook. So I'm going to do about that much because it looks like a good amount. I will save those for something else I'm making tonight for dinner. And I'm just going to dice up those white parts that were a little larger than the green. They're not huge chunks in this. So what I like to do is get all the ingredients in the bowl before even mixing in the mayo. So that looks good to me, so we're going to pop that in the bowl. Now my grandma used to make this anytime I wanted it, but it was one of the first things I remember really asking her to make special. When I was craving it. So the apple's what makes it a little more unique. I've met many people in my 40-something years of life who do use apples in their tuna recipes, but it is not very common. You don't meet a ton of people who do. You can cut them as big or as small as you'd like. That onion is getting to me. I'm not crying because I miss you, Grandma, but I could do that too. I could cry any day because I miss her so much and her cooking. This isn't really cooking, but hey, if it's a whole meal that tastes great, it's cooking. So this is how I do the apple. I usually just do it in 4 slices just to avoid the core. Of course, I have an apple core, but I'm not using it today. And what I try to do is for every large can of tuna that you use, I do a half an apple. And I really have tried it with all types of apples and it's great. This is just what was in my fruit basket today. So I'm going in pretty small in these apple chunks. Why I like the red onion the best with this tuna is because you get the sweetness from the apple and the bite from those red onions. And I think it just is a perfect combination. But I found that the green onions are a little milder, and usually people who don't even savor onions don't mind the green onions. And they make a pretty color in the tuna too. You have this red apple and then the green onion sprinkled throughout the tuna, so it's going to be really pretty for my photograph that I'm taking later. So we've got all of the apple inside. Now, you could take this further if you like really chunky tuna, and you could chop up some of your dill pickles or sweet pickles, but We like dill around here. I'm going to go ahead and go in with some mayonnaise. A couple oversized tablespoons is usually enough, but we will leave that and see what happens in a moment. I like it a little on the drier side. Some people want it creamier, but it's up to you. So we got a couple sprinkles of salt, lots of pepper. Grandma was a major saltaholic all the way up to the end of her life, which was last year. But she loved her salt and her pepper. Always extra salt. Can you pass the salt, please? I need that salt, Heather. That's what she would tell me. So I'm going to mix. And just like that, the battery died, so we move on to food styling. And here are the pictures that I took. I styled with a little bit of potato chips and some tiny dill pickles, a little bit of butter lettuce to finish the sandwich off. If you love food and you love photography, you're going to want to visit my YouTube page often because they are two of my favorite things, and I will continue to share as often as possible.